Welcome to Inspired Artist Podcast with me, Porter Singer. I am here with Jaya Madhava, or James Cennamo, who is the artist working with Govinda Sky. That's his band, his Kirtan band. Jaya Madhava lives in Salem, Massachusetts, and he started Govinda Sky in 2007 with two friends, Trevor Buckingham and Eddie Kane. So Trevor is the producer of all their music, and he used to be a drummer in a punk rock band in 1980. That's fun. We should talk about that. He's also a cartoonist with a graphic memoir coming out in 2023. I've been seeing some sneak peeks of that. That looks really cool. And he plays mridanga drum and sings on the tracks. He plays, or they play, Govinda Sky, Kirtan-Sanskrit chants, and their latest track features recording artist Guru Ganesh of the Guruganesh Band. He is also a kundalini yoga practitioner, and I think that's all I have on him. This is the first time we've met, so I'm going to be learning as much as you, and welcome.
Nice to see you, Porter. Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, you too.
A little bit. I do have a head cold, which is not conducive to podcast at all, but I'll try my best here.
Oh, well, thank you for pushing through that and joining us anyway. I know that can't be fun. Yeah. I remember once I was actually backstage with Krishna Das, and he had like a really bad fever and was going to go and perform anyway.
Oh,
Somebody was like, "How do you think that's going to go?" And he went, "Well, we'll see."
Yeah. Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They should have given him a sponge bath before he went out there, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Cool him down. Yeah, like you do with babies.
Yeah, well, because I remember my mindset was like, man, I would have just canceled.
Yeah,
But
me too. Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's
So,
hard to perform.
yeah, so I got this cold on top of everything else around here. It's been rainy and miserable, but at least it hasn't been snow up here in Salem, Mass. So it was like in the 40s today, so it wasn't so bad, but
Yeah.
we've been having a lot of rain lately and no snow yet.
Oh, okay. Well, we did have snow, and I actually love snow, but maybe that's because there's so little of it here.
Mm.
You get it, and then it kind of goes, and then it's like kind of temperate again. I mean, it's cold, but it's not
It looks beautiful.
terrible.
It
Yeah.
looks nice.
Yeah, it does look beautiful. Well, that's the other thing about snow, right? Is it's so beautiful when it sets, like when it first starts, but then like as people sort of
Oh yeah.
walk through it and whatever, then it's like,
Yeah,
okay.
you should have seen the snowstorms in New York City when I lived there as a kid. Oh my God, it was awful. It was like the snow drifts were like brown, you know.
Right. And then everybody's like, all the cars and the,
Yeah, yeah,
trash and the, yeah. So it's
yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful in its inception. And
Right,
then,
right. Yeah.
yeah. So you grew up in the city?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York
Oh, okay. Okay,
in
cool.
in the 1960s.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had quite an experience with city life.
Yeah.
And when I moved up here, my dad used to work at WCBS in New York, and he produced a couple of radio shows. One of them was like a folk show where he like met all these great performers. Like he met like Woody Guthrie and his
Well,
son
that's
at the
cool.
time, Arlo. He said, "Yeah, I met Arlo Guthrie too. He was like 13." I was like, "Oh my God." And Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Carly Simon, he knew, and everybody else. And he got a job up here in Massachusetts, and he moved us, and I was devastated because I did not want to leave Brooklyn. But like all things, you get used to it, and I acclimated, and I love New England, and especially Salem now. I've been here a year, and this is like the
Hmm.
funkiest town. It's just so cool up here. Great people, great restaurants, shops, a lot of witchcraft going on.
I was gonna say there's like a really cool Halloween tradition there too, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
People from all over the world come here. I mean, I met people from like every European country you could think of. Yeah, it's the
Wow.
Halloween city, you know, in the on the globe.
What makes it so special? Because I've
Yeah,
never
well,
been, I've just heard.
because of the in 1692, because of the witch the hysteria that went on, that 20 people, innocent people, were executed
Yeah.
for a witch, which is, you know, it's so, yeah, it's ludicrous. But I mean, if you've seen that movie,
Crucible?
The Crucible, that kind of gives you a little it in a nutshell. I mean, they took a lot of liberties, with the story here and there, but that's basically what it was. It was hysteria, mass hysteria,
Yeah.
and 20 people lost their lives. And I did visit the actual place where they were hung. It's called Proctor's Ledge, and it's about a mile away from me. And they finally found the exact spot where they were hung. They used to think it was
Oh.
further up in this hill, but it wasn't. And so they put a memorial there with the 20 people, their names like in granite, which is
Oh.
really nice. But the whole dichotomy of the whole situation is that this is such a witchy town now, but in 1692 there were no real witches here. You know what I mean? But you know, the popularity and I don't know, they just cashed in on the whole witch thing. And there's like all these witchcraft stores and wizard stores and huge celebration Halloween. Thousands and thousands of people are here.
Do they do something special that's like Salem-y for Halloween that makes it so
Uh,
attractive? Oh.
yeah, well, you know what? It's mostly you will see people in witch garb.
Mm.
So they're kind of celebrating the witches, but I mean there weren't really witches here, but they're celebrating witches anyway. So, and it's kind of cool. I mean, witchcraft doesn't really necessarily mean evil anyway.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
the paganism,
Yeah.
which Christianity and other religions borrowed from.
Right.
So anyway, but anyway, yeah, it's a great place to live.
That's cool. Yeah. I've only heard about it. It'd be cool to experience one year.
Oh, you have to come and visit in
For
October.
yeah, that would be really cool. I would love that.
I mean, people book like years in advance, you
Wow.
know. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay, well noted. So maybe in like 2027 we
Yeah. Okay.
can.
I'll mark you down, pencil you in somewhere.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
So you you were in your bio, I noticed you were in a punk rock band.
Yeah. 1979, my friends and we decided, I mean, we were jamming anyway, I was the drummer and I had drums at my house. They'd come over with their Sears electric guitars and stuff and little amps, and we just goof around. We didn't really know a lot. And then one day we was like, well, let's make up a song. And this is when the punk craze it was kind of like dying out a little bit because it really peaked in like 76 and 77. So this is 79, and there's like new wave were coming in, the Talking Heads and
Mm,
Blondie, they were popular. And so we just put a couple of songs together, and before you knew it we had like 10 songs. And they were, I don't think they were like really hardcore punk at all. They were just kind of like new wavy. Oh, God bless you. They were like new wavy, Elvis Costello-ish type of stuff, a little bit of Clash, something like that. But it wasn't hardcore punk at all. But we thought of ourselves as, punk rockers. And we played a few gigs here and there in the city. And our shining moment was we played the famous Rathskeller, which is called the Rat here in,
uh-huh.
it was like Boston CBGB's,
Oh,
like that was the place to play. And so we played there like a couple of times, and
fun.
we fulfilled our goal to play the crappiest place on earth. Yeah. So then about we would still jam occasionally. I would get together with Eddie, who's the guitar player, who I've known since we were 14. and we still play to this day. And he his like I guess his charge, or his adoptive son in a way, uh, had this little recording studio. He was like 14 years old, and but he was like, he knew what he was doing in his little studio with Pro Tools and the other apps and stuff like that, programs you can get. And he sounded pretty good. And one day he said, "Hey, you want to make a beat?" And I went, "Okay." And so we made a beat, and it was more like a hip hop rap thing. And I just added some Sanskrit to it, like Om Namah Shivaya, or Hari Om. And I wrote some lyrics for him. And so he would like spit the lyrics, which were all kind of like transcendental anyway. And then we put an album together.
Oh, cool. Was
Yeah, we
that
played.
like the
What?
first go? Is that under Govinda Sky as Govinda Sky, or was this before
Yeah,
that?
in the Sky. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
our first name was going to be Sky Burial, because that's what that is, right?
No.
It's the Tibetan tradition of, after someone passes away, they cut up his body up in the hills in the Himalayas, or in Tibet, and the vultures come down
I
and eat.
was just, yeah, okay.
It's called a sky burial.
Oh.
So, so we were going to go with that, but I discovered online there was like this hardcore band called Sky Burial. So we had to nix that. I thought I was so clever to make that up. So I like the word sky, so we said let's call it Govinda Sky. You know,
Okay.
and
That's
whenever I see like a that bluish, that really almost turquoise blue, I always call it Govinda blue. So I would say that's a Govinda Sky.
hmm.
It's a blue, the blue hue of Krishna.
Oh, okay. That's a I was just thinking, I I always loved the name Veruca Salt, and so I always
Yeah,
wanted a band named Veruca Salt, and then I found out that there was a band named Veruca Salt.
yeah, yeah, and they were kind of famous too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like it was way before they were, I was like thinking about that when I grow up, I'm gonna have, and then there was like,
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like good ideas are sort of like, in the air, and
yeah.
whoever seizes it first gets it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The sky burial thing, though, I was nodding my head because I just started reading, and I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it because it's awfully like medically graphic, which is hard for me. But John Irving has a book called the Boy from the Circus or something. It has something to do with the circus, and it
Oh
takes place
yeah,
in India. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah. I read that.
Oh,
Yeah,
you did? Okay.
yeah. John
Okay.
Irving is one of my favorite authors. I mean, for
I
for novels anyway. Yeah,
Yeah,
so good. I mean, the Hotel New Hampshire. I mean,
I didn't read that one. I
oh,
read,
you have to read that.
what was it? I love the Cider House Rules
Yeah,
and Prayer for
World
Ellen
According to
Meany.
World
I
According to.
didn't read The World According to Garth. That's
Oh,
like
but
it's a really famous one.
you have to read the two ones that
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
you know, those are the
yeah.
definitive John Irving novels. Oh,
But he
so
talks about he's like the characters in India. I don't know if it's in the beginning, and there's these vultures up because they've done that, but they haven't put the bodies in the Himalayas. They've put them like on top of a building.
yeah,
Yeah. So
wow,
it's like, oh, that's
yeah,
uh,
yeah. It's
very
it's
interesting.
it's the epitome of recycle, reuse, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, makes sense if your life philosophy is that the body is basically just a
Yeah,
shell. I mean, who cares what happens to it afterwards, right? So,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, they have these things now where you can be cremated, and then they put your ashes in a like a planter, and it
Mm,
grows a tree, I think. I'm not sure what exactly it does, but
mhm.
then you have a tree there. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I really like that. The whole like coffin thing is very odd
yeah,
to me.
no.
Yeah. We were
Well,
watching.
this is a cheery subject. What else do you want to talk about? The Black
Yeah.
Death, or the plague?
I feel like people don't talk about death enough, though. you know, like I mean it's normal. It's not like it's not gonna happen.
Right, right.
Um,
Well, that famous saying, I forget the comedian's name, but he said, "No, I don't fear death at all. I just don't want to be there when it happens."
yeah. I like that. I've never heard that before. Yeah. So what was was there a transition for you from like doing the punk rock or the soft core punk rock, I guess, to like
Oh,
yoga?
well, I did yoga in high school, and that was, oh my God, 1973. And I knew what it was about. I knew it came from the East, the mystical India and stuff, and I was really interested in it. And I would just gravitate towards that stuff. And well, what I wrote in my I'm writing now in my graphic memoir is like how I got interested in it
Mm,
by hearing like things from Rubber Soul, the song Norwegian Wood, with the sitar. George plays the sitar in it, and it's like,
oh,
oh,
okay.
sitar, wait a minute, and then then they started using a lot of Indian instrumentation in the rock and roll from the late 60s.
Hmm.
Stones did, and Donovan, and George Harrison, of course, and I just love that aspect of it. And I didn't really get involved in any type of um, sangha, or gathering of yogis, or practitioners of any type of philosophy, until I met my former wife, Rebecca. Her initiated name was Pankaja, and she was a Siddha yoga, and she followed Muktananda in upstate New York, in South Fallsburg, and she lived at the ashram.
Mm,
And I met her on Nantucket. I lived on Nantucket for a while, and she had this like altar in her room with this beautiful Indian woman and candles. And I'm going, what is that? What's all that about? And she told me that was Guru Mai, who took over the
mm,
lineage from Muktananda. And I was like, oh, great. And she played me these chants, Om Namah Shivaya, excuse me, and some other ones. And I was like, oh, wow. So she opened up another door. And so I'm indebted to her always for doing that. And I started going to the Siddha ashram here in Boston. It was just lovely. And so that was 93. So I've been kind of in it
mm.
since then,
Did
so
you make it a practice to make music as part of that
no,
practice initially, or?
no, I would just go for, they would have their different sanghas. Like on Sunday morning, I would bring my kids, and they would have meditation. But for the kids, they gave them a time limit of 1 minute. That's all the kids can really do. But then there's the chanting, and the chant was Om Namah Shivaya, which is so beautiful. And that's where I got into it from there. And then my former wife, bought me a mridanga drum,
Mm,
and I started fooling around with that. And pretty soon, I got a harmonium, and then the cartels, which is the easiest thing to do. So I'm good at that, not the other instruments. But and then that's when I met up with Eddie and his charge, Trevor Buckingham.
mm,
That's where we went from there, because I had all this. Well, I didn't have a lot of knowledge, but a little bit of basic knowledge of what bhakti was all about and everything else, and so that's where it sprang from. You know,
mm.
I'm still a novice. I mean, I don't know a lot. I'm just scratching the surface.
What, why do you say that?
Because it's so the subject of bhakti yoga, and any type of yoga, and the vast knowledge of the Vedic literature and all that stuff. It is like trying to count the stars in the solar
Mhm.
system. It's incredibly uh, it's just a huge undertaking, and you have to try to learn a little bit at a time, like a little bit every day, learn a new sloka or a new
Mm.
chant, something, or learn this on the harmonium, and just keep on learning.
Mm.
So, and I learned from other people, other chant artists,
Hmm.
um, especially people, Krishna Das, of course. I mean, I saw him in the year 2000, and there's like maybe 30 people in the audience, you know, and
Hmm.
then I saw him again,
I
like
haven't
in
been to one of those concerts.
2010, and it was like, you know, 500 people, and then, but yeah, he's one of my favorites. And he's a very humble, sweet guy. He is,
Yeah.
he really is.
Yeah.
He's not starstruck or anything, or doesn't have a big
No,
ego.
no. He's
He
super down to earth. Yeah.
he walks the walk, as we say.
Yeah. Yeah. You heard that thing? I thought that was fascinating that it was he and John Friend who had the same guru, and John Friend was the one who was into the chanting, and Krishna Das was the one who was into the yoga, and the guru told him to switch.
Oh,
Have you ever heard that?
yeah.
I don't know if that's rumor, but
Maybe. No, there's all sorts of stories. I mean, the one story about Krishna Das is that he was this close to joining the rock band Blue Oyster Cult.
oh,
That
as
originally,
as a singer?
yeah, singer and guitar player,
Okay.
because they all came from, I think, from Long Island, and that's where
Oh.
Krishna Das was from. And he decided, I think he made a couple of trips back and forth to India, and then they asked him like, "Are you in or out?" And he went like, "Nah, I'm out. I'm going to stick with this chanting stuff." So,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
that's good news for us, bad news for Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, good investment.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a pretty a pretty amazing leap of faith when you think of it, because even now, you can say, I want to be a chant artist, and there's people you can go like so and so, like Krishna Das, like whoever. But in that time, I mean, that wasn't it's sort of like I want to be a YouTuber in like the 80s, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was, the right time and the right place, and,
Yeah.
and he succeeded. And my hat's off to him.
Yeah.
And I also like Nina Rao, uh,
Mm.
who's accompanies him all the time. She's a
Hmm.
sweetheart too.
Hmm.
And another chant, she does Buddhist chants, is my friend Lee Mirabai Harrington.
Oh yeah, I've sung with her.
Oh yeah, so she
Yeah.
sings on a track of ours called Kalima.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her voice is just beautiful. It's
Yeah.
just sublime, and she really. I'm so happy that I asked her to do it. Plus, we needed a woman's voice. It was starting to sound like, the old boys club, with because it was just us, like 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 men, and
Hmm.
we needed a woman's voice there. So we're adding women's voices now, and it makes it so much better.
Oh, nice.
It really does.
Yeah. Do you play live often as well?
No, not anymore.
No.
Especially since the pandemic hit and stuff, and just threw everybody for a loop. And the producer Trevor, he recently got married, has a new baby, but I'm still recording with him occasionally.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always curious what like everybody's kind of chanting looks like for well, I don't even do as much chanting anymore, but I'm definitely more I've always been more interested in recording. I really love recording
Mhm.
as a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. It's so much fun, especially when I'm working with my friend Trevor.
Hmm.
He's a young guy. He's like 27.
Hmm.
He's got like thousands of dollars of equipment, and the top shelf equipment stuff, and he knows how to use it.
Hmm.
The tracks that we come up with come out beautiful. I mean, the latest one that we did, that I think, I don't know if I sent it to you, but the one with Guru Ganesh.
No, you didn't send it to me.
Oh, we do a version of Wahe Guru.
Okay.
And
Is it out?
no, not officially.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can send you the demo of it if you'd like. But I just happened to I met Guru Ganesh a few years ago when he did a concert with oh my God, Prem, I forget their names. The two
Trevor
people.
Pramal.
Yes, the two
Yeah.
people plus one.
Trevor Pramal and Me 10 with
Yeah,
Manoj.
the flute player. Right. What a great concert. And they were fantastic. And Guru Ganesh Band opened for
That
them.
would have been a while ago. That was with when he was
Uh,
touring with Paloma.
so maybe 7 years ago,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
something like that, six or
Yeah,
seven
I
years ago.
just had Paloma on the podcast. She was the female singer that they toured
Right, right.
with. Yeah. And I
Uh,
saw that. I saw that as well in Phoenix. That was a really beautiful concert. Yeah.
And I was really impressed with Guru Ganesh Band. I really loved them. It was
Yeah.
good.
Sure. Yeah.
It reminded me of, it was so laid back. It was kind of like watching a Grateful Dead show.
Yeah.
And then I find out later that he's a big, huge Deadhead. And we've talked about our experiences going to see the Dead in our younger days.
Yeah.
I just happened to ask him. I said, "Hey, would you like to add your voice to this? We're doing Wahe Guru." And he goes, "Oh, sure." I went, "Okay." So we arranged it. He had a producer that we figured things out, and he added his voice from Virginia.
Yeah.
I was up in Salem, and the producer, his recordist, was in Oregon. So the magic of technology, so we don't really have to be there anymore,
I know.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That would
I
avoid a lot
wonder.
of arguments and egos.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
Another,
There's just also like a lot of um I find it so much nicer to be in your own space when you're recording, you know? So if you can do it in your own time
yeah,
and not necessarily like, okay, everybody has to be in the studio at noon and that's when you have to be on and it has to sound good because we have 2 hours to do it, you know? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I was wondering if you had gotten him to sing or if you played guitar, so it's a singing. That's cool.
Yeah, just the voice.
I can always tell. I can always tell his guitar. He has like a very distinct
Yeah,
guitar sound when he plays.
along with his voice,
Yeah,
distinct.
that's true. Yes, that is absolutely true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. He's a great guy.
yeah. So what are y'all up to now? Are you was this Waheguru track part of another album or?
Yeah, this is we started this about 5 years ago. And like I said, the COVID thing and marriage and babies and illness and whatever. And finally we're getting back into it because we've got like 7 or 8 new songs, new tracks, new chants.
Oh,
And
cool.
so it's tedious, but we're working on it, here and there, so hopefully it'll come out. We'll have another album out soon.
Registration is now open for the January songwriting series. It will be 5 sessions starting Tuesday, January 3rd. And this will be for people, not necessarily musicians, who have been wanting to write a song. Songwriting has been an instrumental part of my own processing and healing. And so I wanted to share this as a way, as a vehicle for you to get that inner world of yours and turn it into something tangible. Go to portersinger.com/community. Do you play drums when you sing? Is that what you?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a cajon or the mridanga, or I also have a dumbek, an Arabic drum. I bring them all with us anyway, and I just decide at the last second what I'll play. And I also have a shruti box.
Oh, okay.
I use that, and sometimes it's not good. The last time we played, we were standing up, and I forgot totally. Like, you can't play the shruti box standing up. I'm like holding it off to the side, and it looked really weird.
Could you put it on a table? I've seen people.
Yeah, but I didn't think of that.
Right. Okay.
I just had it there because we start out on the floor
Right.
with like acoustic chants, and then we kind of stand up and we get into the more electric type of stuff, because we have electric drums and bass and a couple of electric guitars.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, yeah. So
Super fun. Is there
yeah.
much of a chant scene in Salem?
Kind of, yeah. It's mostly in the greater Boston area in
Okay.
Cambridge. There's this group of people, or a sangha that I like to call it. It's called Kitchery Kirtan, and it's been going on for 11, almost 12 years, I think. And every once a month we meet at this people's house. His name is Tamal and his lovely wife Shakti, and they have like a really nice big sprawling apartment, so we
Hmm.
can fit like 30 people in his living room.
Cool.
And so we have the monthly chant there. It's been going on for about 12 years now. And
Oh,
he recently put together a album of all of us chanters, different chanters, called Chantabridgia, which is a play on words, because what you call people in Cambridge, or you call Cambridge, is Cantabridgia.
oh, okay.
It's Old English, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, so he did this whole thing with like video and audio, and it's really nice.
That's cool. Can you see that or?
You know what? I can send you a link to the trailer.
Okay, yeah. I'll put that in the show notes for people if they want to
Yeah,
check.
you would definitely like it, because it's the whole community, the whole array of different chant people.
Oh, neat.
There's like about 20 of us, I think.
Yeah.
And it's a great community.
So is that all people who chant generally in Sanskrit and like the Hindu
Yeah,
tradition? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, mostly. Every so often, there'll be oh, I forget the name of that. Who are the people who follow Rumi?
Oh, Sufis?
Sufi.
Yeah.
Sufi chants. There was a chanting rabbi. I didn't see him that time, but I know
Oh,
I know he was here, so his Hebrew.
not Kirtan Rabbi.
I forget who it is. I
Oh,
don't think it's him. No,
okay.
it was another rabbi. Uh, and yeah, and it's really open and welcoming, and it's like open mic night. You
Yeah,
know,
okay.
if they don't have a certain chant walla coming, it's open mic, and
Hmm.
they can get up there. You know,
Oh, that's neat.
yeah. So I mean, they've had some. Oh, I forget who they've had. Um, yeah, but they would get like national, chanters, national kirtan leaders come through every so often.
Yeah.
Not big names like Krishna Das, I don't think, but the others are equally as good, and
Yeah.
they come through.
There was a similar thing in LA when I lived there where it was, oh, his name was Randall Real, I think. And he would do something similar. You would get there, there'd be like 100 shoes outside, and you go downstairs, and whoever was performing that week would be like the guest of honor. I think it would, and then everyone would do the Hanuman Chalisa, and then we'd eat.
Yeah, nice.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was into before I actually got into Kundalini yoga. That was my like first um introduction to chant music was the bhakti scene. Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny, and it's kind of one of those pet peeves of mine, is that I was um I was watching TV, which is crazy anyway, right? TV. Kill your television. But anyway, I was with my mom, 87 years old. We're watching TV late at night, and one of those commercials came on for, yoga place.
Uh-huh.
And it was like one of these like uh, late at night infomercial type of the tempo of it was like, come on, do this yoga, and we're going to do this and that, and you bring your mat and this, and also no chanting. So it was like they were like, come to
Oh, you
us.
mean they were advertising it as don't worry, we won't make
Don't
you
worry, no,
chant.
no chanting. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, how despicable is that? I mean, I mean, these the people that they're targeting are the people who have no patience, no tolerance, no. So they figure yoga is just an exercise.
Right. I was gonna say it sounds like a like kind of a gym sort of
And it's like,
situation.
oh
Yeah.
my God, I was like, I was laughing. I was like, this is unbelievable. You know how they took the ancient practice of yoga and westernized it and streamlined it, and
Yeah.
I call it mall yoga. They're just like, oh, come on in, we're doing yoga, and okay, you got to wear these fancy clothes and get this mat, and now they're like having was it um customized like mat spray cleaner.
Oh, I don't know about that.
A little bottle of spray cleaner for your mat with a little ohm sign on it. It costs like 12.99. And it's
Okay,
like, oh
gotcha.
my God, the commercialization of this ancient practice.
Yeah. Well, I think it's easier for people to relate to something if they understand like, and I mean, we see that in religion too. It's like you don't necessarily have to know what the meaning of something is or like what it means to you personally,
Right.
because you can just buy the costume, you can, do the things sort of and go like, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Christian, I'm a, whatever, because I wear this or I do this on Sunday or, that sort of
Yeah, it's like it's all right, come to our church. No praying. I'm just,
thing.
I'm just a purist, I mean,
Yeah. I think also maybe people are a little nervous about the chanting because it feels kind of cult-like. Do you
yeah,
think?
that's so silly. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a school in Georgia, maybe about a year ago. They are allowing yoga, okay, but the students in the school who take the yoga classes cannot say namaste.
Ah, okay. I had actually an experience of teaching. It's weird actually, but I didn't really practice Kundalini yoga in the beginning. I taught it to children. Like I
Hmm.
didn't really have a personal practice of it. I just knew how to teach stuff to kids, which was really fun. I loved it. But so I was using all these what?
A bunch of little kids doing the fire breath.
You're not supposed to, no, they didn't recommend doing breath of fire until you're like formed or something. But no, we were just doing like cute little chants and like whatever. But some girl's dad got mad at the language. We were saying
Yeah,
Satnam, and it reminded him of Satan and
yeah,
stuff like that or whatever.
intolerant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, in retrospect, it does sort of introduce a life philosophy or whatever that maybe he wasn't jiving with. But anyway, what I thought was interesting about it is I finally convinced the program director that this was okay because I took the example of ballet and I was like, when we do ballet, we use the language of ballet. we say whatever,
We
had
say
to
plie.
plie or whatever, right? Instead of bend. so, so she was like, okay, I like that. I can deal with that. So, yeah.
I mean, we just have to remember the old saying from the early 90s, celebrate diversity.
Mm,
Remember that?
yeah.
uh, yeah, it's been a rough these past few years, so
Yeah. Yeah.
what can I say?
So, yeah, interesting. Is there anything else you think you want to share, like about what you're up to or
Uh, mm,
good books?
you know what? All I read is biographies and autobiographies,
Oh, okay.
memoirs. I haven't read a novel in so long. and I don't know. It's weird. If I pick up a novel, it doesn't grab my interest.
Hmm.
A story from real life does,
Yeah.
especially when you read like about the old rock stars, like Neil Young and Crosby, Stills and Nash and Jimi Hendrix and John Lennon. And it's so much more interesting. But that's all I read now.
Biographies.
Biographies. It's so
Cool.
bizarre. But no, I'm working on my finishing my graphic memoir.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's a journey in my weird life from I guess from birth till present, and it's mostly silly stuff, foolish things that have happened to me, sprinkled in with some spiritual stuff that has also happened to me, and how I came here and came there and whatever, and how I did the music, how I approach music, and how I approach the spirituality of things. And but it's mostly humorous.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward for that to be published. We're doing some editing right now, and it's just tedious. It's just like so I've been doing that for the last year.
So you're also a visual artist. Is that
Yeah, yeah.
fair?
I was an editorial cartoonist for a couple of newspapers. Um,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, and
that's
painting.
fun.
Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none.
I like so it seems like you read autobiographies and biographies, and you're also interested in writing one. And so how did you choose graphic novel?
Because I can draw cartoons. And
It's,
so I thought I would make it, as a graphic memoir. You
it's
know?
a really cool way to experience someone's
Yeah,
story. I was looking
yeah.
at some of your,
Did I
uh,
say what
no, you posted something on Instagram.
yeah, yeah. The Sadhu.
Yeah.
That's a it's a true story because they're all true. And it's just like I said before, is sometimes fiction is more interesting than real life, and or the other way around. Real life is more interesting than fiction, and that was one story that was insane and stuff. And my wife at the time just like laughed her head off at me, because I'll just recap. She signed me up for an intensive, a Siddha yoga intensive. It was at this prestigious auditorium called Jordan Hall in Boston. I mean, where they've had like symphonies and other things there. And so they were having the intensive, and I really didn't know what it was. And said, "Yeah, you go there and you'll learn the chant and stuff and learn things." I went, "Okay." So I went, and before I went, I said, "All right, what am I going to wear?" So I picked like the shabbiest clothes, because I thought like to reach some sort of spiritual realm that she was introducing me to, I had to look like a wandering mendicant. I had to be some sort of poor spiritual guy. And so I picked the worst clothes, like this old shirt that was like, the collar was like cut off, and these baggy old pants that I bought at Goodwill, and like sandals. And this is when I had long hair, and I had like a little goatee and long hair, and I'm look maybe like Jesus Christ. And so I walk in, and uh, we're in the auditorium, and they're chanting. It was beautiful. It was like 300 people chanting Om Namah Shivaya for about an hour. It was unbelievable. Then when we walked outside at lunchtime or something, the bright lights in the dining room, I saw all these people, and everyone was dressed immaculately. And I was the only one who looked like, the Artful Dodger. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. And yeah, people love that story. They're going, "What were you thinking?" I said, "That's how naive I was."
I think that that's a fairly un I what easy to relate to assumption though, right? Like
Yeah.
I think when most people think about spirituality, they also think of poverty.
Yes. especially, and the subcontinent, India. It's like
Mhm.
I'm going to this thing and they're going to be chanting Sanskrit and Hinduism, and they have Shiva, and here I am in ragged clothes. All that was missing was the begging pot. Yeah, it was
That's great.
quite an awakening.
So when do you think that is, do you have like a date or are you just sort of seeing how it goes?
Yeah, I'm seeing how it goes. I've got like 151 pages, and I was only going to shoot for maybe 30
Oh, wow.
a year ago, just to have like a little, you know, a
Yeah.
little, and it's just grown. And I think maybe because of the surroundings or whatever, when I first got here, I was a little bit lost. When you first move to a new town. And then I just started exploring, and there's great people here, and just a great vibe here, especially at Halloween time. I just started getting into it. Said, you know what, I'm going to do more. And it became like a job. It was like every day I would take all my stuff down to the local cafe. There's a hipster cafe I go to all the time. Overpriced, coffee and pastries. And I would spend like 3 or 4 hours in there every day and just doing the basic cartoons.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'll send you a couple more samples.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. So if people want to find out more about what you do and especially find out about the release of your book, how should they do that?
I guess through Instagram. There's
I
another
will
one. There's an
link
old
it.
there's an old one of mine, Govinda Sky, and for some reason you can't like delete it. Or
Oh,
I couldn't delete it because I forgot the password, It was so long ago. So there might be two. But yeah, I'm sure you'll link the proper one.
I'll find it. Yeah. The one that you usually use, right? Okay. So yeah, we will see you in the next episode. Thank you, James, and have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thanks for tuning into the podcast, y'all. Please like, subscribe, rate, comment, whatever the platform you listen to podcasts on offers you as a way to let its algorithm know that you're enjoying these episodes. That really helps. Also, there's some links in the podcast description notes that allow you to support the podcast in a way that benefits you and us. So please check those out. And if you'd like to stay in touch with me, you can sign up for my mailing list at portersinger.com. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.